Evening,
Welcome,
sir.
welcome. Sister Omira, welcome.
Good evening, ma.
Welcome. Sister Omira, welcome.
Good evening, ma.
Good evening. Welcome.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Medical Mondays with Dr. O. Um, I'm excited about our topic tonight, as I get excited every Monday. So I don't know why I keep saying it. I'm excited because I'm always excited about every topic. Dr. Tony Okwesomi, my background is in family practice, HIV medicine, and addictions medicine. I love to learn and I love to share. When I have the opportunity or the know how or the knowledge, I love to do that. And this platform has been a platform where we all are able to, learn and, just share information and be better in our health in different ways. Tonight, we're going to be talking about what, in my mind, is the state of the country. Um, our very own Medical Mondays family, Mr. Gbenga Ogunjimi, founder and executive director of our only Nigerian center in DC, is going to be talking to us tonight about the state of Black immigration in the US. He's going to talk about policy, community, and our well being. This is an important conversation that is right for this season. So I'm going to yield the floor to Mr. Gbenga Ogunjimi. Gbenga, welcome.
Awesome. Greetings, family. Medical Monday family, NAPAC family, DC family, Jesus House family, Redeemed family. All of that, all the above. NASFAT family, which other ones? Indigo Association family, if you're a Jebu like me, Jebu family, and all the family, African American family, Nigerian. So there's a new hashtag now we're putting out there. We call it I am part Nigerian. So my percentiles, like I'm the 25% Nigerians, the 50% part Nigerians, greetings to every single one of us. I'm honored to be here. Dr. is someone that has been a mom, a mentor, a leader, a pillar of support. And I just pray for her every day because I don't know where she gets all the energy from. So, and I'm much more young, so I don't know how she does it. So, it should be the other way around. But Gbenga Ogunjimi is my name. For those who don't know me, I'm the director of the Nigerian Center. I'm still unable to use the word founder. I rarely use it. I didn't even use executive director. I just use director of I'm a director of the Nigerian Center. And I'm here to talk about the state of Black immigration as it affects policy, community, and overall well-being. It's only befitting to start with my story. I'm fairly young, recent in the United States, and I think it was about 15 years ago, or between that, I came to the United States on an exchange visitor J1 program. And the program was a nonprofit program for nonprofit leaders. And if you in DC, so I caught the DC bug of go and change the world. They told us to go and change the world, that you are in the nation's capital, that you have the entire world at your fingertips, that you should release your imagination. And the crazy people are the ones who believe they can change the world, and you might just be crazy, no boundaries, no old but. And I believe that. So I came in here and I identified a gap. The gap I identified first was I'm a social entrepreneur, was in social international service. programs like the Peace Corps provide opportunities for Americans to go around the world to serve. They go to communities. I don't know if there's any Peace Corps volunteers listening in the house. They evangelize the American values of prosperity, of community, of support around the world. When they go overseas, those communities will be the very first time they will experience the American. I've seen presidents of countries who says a Peace Corps volunteer was their school teacher in their country. So that was the experience of the American brand and story that they will experience. So I come here with an innovation that was considered the reverse Peace Corps. Nothing against peace, but the idea that can we get local change makers from those countries to actually come to the United States and help us to shape the understanding of the places where we send Americans to serve. And when I was here in DC, what I realized was those programs can use some diversity. I didn't see a lot of Black and brown people participating in those programs. But how can you have a pathway into international service? How can you work at the State Department? There used to be something called USAID, no shade. How can you have those opportunities if you don't have the opportunities to go overseas to serve? So I started a nonprofit to tackle that. And I finished my program and I would go back and forth. I didn't understand the US visa laws, the immigration laws. I just did exactly what they said I should do, go change the world. So I started in South Africa, expanded to East Africa, West Africa, North Africa, and I was getting talents from the United States to go to those countries to serve. And it was a defining moment, a pivotal moment, a life-changing, life-altering moment I had at the Atlanta International Airport. And I was coming back into the country, and the CBP immigration officer asked me to state my mission. And if you are Nigerians, we have this Let My People Go response. We tell them, I'm coming to see my cousin, my niece, her friends. And I just decided not to use all of those anymore. So I told them that I just started this non-for-profit. I'm coming back to continue to run. So the man said, tell me more. So I opened my big Nigerian mouth. I told them all this thing I was doing. And when I finished, the gentleman looked at me straight in the face. He said, I will not be authorizing your stay in the United States, your entry to the United States. I'm going to put you on removal deportation. And you're not authorized to come back to this country anymore. And thankfully, I've been in the United States for a couple of years. I know what it means to speak to a manager. But I said it respectfully. I didn't say, can I speak to a manager? So I said, is there anybody else I can speak to? He said, yes. So I was escorted to the holding, they call it secondary screening, with the officers. And, and there was, if you watch those televisions shows, it's like a glass room. You couldn't see inside in, but they could see you outside in. They used for interrogation and things like that. And I was there with a whole bunch of people from around the country. It was so funny. Our bags were in the middle of the room, and there were two exits, one back to the airport, to the airlines, and one back to the United States. And they were calling us one by one to do another round of interview to decide if they were going to deport us or let us back into the country. And I was there for several hours. And after a while, I heard my name in the speakerphones. It said Gbenga Ogunjimi. And I knew it was a decision moment. So I came in. The man said I should tell him again everything I said. I said everything I said. That, I came here, they said, change the world. I'm doing exactly that. I started this non-for-profit. And I have folks waiting for me in the office. I have folks waiting for me overseas. And I go back and forth to run this organization. And the gentleman said, but you're on a visitor's visa. You're not a citizen. You're not a green card holder. Why could you do such a thing? So I don't know. I could not do it. The program said I should change the world. And that is the vehicle I decided. And they say that they have done the investigation, and the invitation, the CBP officer turned around and actually gave me legal advice. and said, "Do you know that you can sponsor yourself?" I said, "I do not know." So there's something called the EB1 Extraordinary Ability Visa. We think you qualify. That we're going to give you an opportunity to go back to the United States. So can you imagine an ICE officer that all those videos you see the television? Can you imagine an ICE officer pulling somebody to the side and saying, "Okay, can we talk about your status? How did you get to this?" That was literally my story. And say, "Okay, so it was a Saturday. On Monday, you're gonna go to the immigration, you're gonna fill this form, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, you're gonna do that." I said, "Yes, thank you. I'm gonna do exactly what you said." So I was allowed to go back into the country. But I knew that was a miracle, was not typical. I knew there had to be a higher purpose when I was exempted. I saw a lot of people being deported there. I knew that it has to be something much more bigger than myself. Well, I should have had that opportunity. So going back into the country, I knew that I had to really examine what I consider opportunities, social enterprise, social entrepreneurship. It has to be purpose entrepreneurship. Whatever I do has to heavily lean to my overarching reason for being in this country. And when I look into the country, I saw there was the Chinese center, there was the Arab center, there was the Taiwanese center, there was the Indian center. I didn't see any Nigerian center. So I thought, how about we start with a Nigerian center with legal services that could have prepared me for what happened to me at that airport? And how about even if you didn't prepare me, there could be an opportunity. If they decide to put me in detention, there's a center I can call. If they decided to put me before a judge, if you've ever been to the immigration court, they'll give you a list of pro bono service providers. We can have Nigerian center on such a list. And if I was thinking about these possibilities, and I said I was going to be the one to do this. Then I started the Nigerian Center. And I remember DC gave us our first funding grant to start up the center with our legal aid program to do a walk-in clinic in Southeast Washington, DC. And I remember calling the mayor's office. You'll be amazed what the response was when I invited them to the launch of the Nigerian Center. The woman on the telephone said, "What took your community so long to have a Nigerian center? Imagine with all your communities composition and your what took you guys so long? Finally, finally got yourself together to have a Nigerian center. We would definitely be there and we would support." So they gave us the fund. We opened the walk-in clinic in 2022. It's 2026 now. We have not closed the day. It's been open ever since. In any part of this country, anyone can walk into our office and get legal services at no cost to them. I would not turn them away. And it really gladdens my heart because we are called Nigerian Center, right? Talking about changing the narrative when people want to hide their Nigerianness or may even want to even claim to be other communities. When people come, I said, I'm Ghanaian and I'm Ethiopian. Can I come in? Can you guys help me? Where can we help you? We help everyone. So I think just that opportunity and beyond just social justice and uh, community service, just the sense of identity that center has given to community members here. They'll say, "Go call this number, go there, go to that place and go get help." And they'll say it so confidently. I think it's just a full circle moment. The fact that I was impacted, I was at the brink of deportation. I had a chance encounter, a miracle, whatever you call it. But we didn't leave that, as they say, hope is not a strategy. We didn't leave that moment to hope to chance, but we were able to convert it into an institution whereby there could be a framework that empowers the entire community. So we started with legal services, and the social entrepreneur bug in me, I said, okay, how can we expand and have a much more systemic impact with what we're doing? Not everyone will have the opportunity to come to Washington, D.C. Not everyone will have the opportunity to pick up the telephone. So I started researching this concept called systems level impact. And I was saying, what level of systems level impact can we have? And we stumbled on this concept called TPS. and we led the TPS campaign for Nigeria, and I became an enemy of the Nigerian state. And and it's so funny. My life has gone in whatever degree you look at it. Depends on who you're speaking to. Some people vow that I am the one the administration is paying all this lobby money. Some people vow from that camp I'm the one U.S. government is using it. So I don't know where exactly I stand at this point, and to start to advocate for the challenges in our country, how we deserve that. But what that did for us, it gave us the opportunity to work with NAPAC at a very high level and several community organizations. It gave us the blueprint for community advocacy, policy advocacy. We established our policy advocacy department. We started to do federal policy work and then local states type of policy work. And that has really, really helped us. So when the country was designated a country of common concern, we're able to swing into action. Whenever there is like a travel ban or mass deportation, we're able to swing into action because of those early wins that we had. And we do financial programs and cultural programs. So I think that's kind of the overall, the journey of the Nigerian Center. I'm very happy to announce that we just made the announcement that we are now providing 100% free legal services for those who are in detention anywhere in the country. They don't have to be in Washington, D.C. or Nigerian. If you know anyone in detention, they call Nigerian Center, they would get legal representation. And this representation, we are serving people from Nigeria, from Togo, from Benin, from Eritrea, from all across, even from Haiti, from across the country. We can legally use the word Black for representation, but quite frankly, that is what it is, that all those people now have the opportunity. When I go to the courts, and it breaks my heart, whereby you can see a lot of our community without any form of representation. Some of them cannot even speak English as their first language. The judge is irritated because he has to repeat himself over and over. They rush through their session, but we're able to change that now. So we do have that support that we're giving our community members. So let me just give an overview for those who may be curious to understand the U.S. immigration system, how it works. There are three dominant pathways to U.S. immigration: to become a U.S. citizen or to have a pathway to have permanent residency in the United States. They are family-based pathway, employment-based pathway, and humanitarian-based pathway. The family-based pathway is the one vast majority of us have benefited from, have given as a benefit to others. And it's a pathway where a lot of us came to this country, whereby we are derivative beneficiary of a U.S. citizen sponsorship that petitions for us to file a form called 130. And then at some point, we're able to adjust our status as a result of that benefit. There could be our spouse, there could be our parent, there could be our children, there could be our step parent, and things like that. There could be our fiance, that we've benefited from. It's called the family-based pathway. And that actually happens with a two-step process. There's a 130 form, they will file the petition once that is approved. They're able to adjust with a form called 485, and they become green card holders. And that is a wonderful pathway. What is changing in that was October 31st. I knew that date because we just did Nigerian American Day, and that was the big news we got at the end of the month. October 30th or 31st, last year, the Trump administration designated Nigeria a country of particular concern. And a couple of weeks after that, there was the announcement that they were introducing national travel bans for 30 plus countries in which Nigeria was impacted. Some of them are full bans, some of them are partial ban, and they could not come to the United States from overseas, right? Now, what happened was, what they didn't tell us was those who are in the United States who are already here would also be restricted from adjusting their status to get permanent residency or to get any form of benefit while that was going on. And that went on for a long time, and it's still on for most part. What I want to talk about is what we did was we started to do a lot of education because the laws were constantly changing. We started to do what we call legal hop clinics, and we started to work with elected officials from across the country. And then we tell the officials, how do you want us to serve your community? Some would say, let's do it in church. Some would say, let's do it online. Some would say in the law office. Some would say in the library. Some would say in, different spaces. And then we started to work with other organizations. In 2026, advocacy has taken a different form. It's not just always write letters and protests. Litigation is a form of advocacy in the climate that we have. A group of organizations came together, and this is important. This is very important. Please stay with me. Came together and filed a lawsuit against the administration that this is illegal, particularly those who are in the United States. One of those organizations is a partner called African Communities Together. And we provided testimonies, we impacted people towards that lawsuits. And about a month or so ago, a federal judge ruled that I was illegal, that those in the United States can now proceed to adjust their status. Listen closely. It did not happen because the administration changed their mind. And this is one of the frustrations we've been dealing with, those of us in the front lines. You see certain benefit, you said a particular party gave us this. Democrat gave us this benefit. Biden gave us this benefit. Trump gave us this benefit. State Department, they did not change their mind. It happened because of litigation effort and advocacy effort from the community in court. A lot of the people who led that nations are politically targeted. They're having subpoenas right now, they're federal investigation, but they fought for our community. And I think one of the things I really want us to really take away from this is whatever your journey is in the United States, you and I have a responsibility and obligation to put our privileges on the line for the benefit of the next generation. The only reason why we are here today is because of that. If you look at the civil rights, if you look at the Black leadership, they put their lives on the line so we can come here. But what we see is actually our own community members who campaigns and try to sabotage the effort. Those victory happens because people fought for it and make it so. So that is about family-based immigration with a policy. About last week, they expanded the ban to 75 countries or so. A federal judge just ruled that that was illegal. The 30 country plus is still in effect. Effectively, virtually, for the most part, significant part of Africa is under a travel ban right now to the United States. And those who are here are now just able to continue to adjust their status. So that is the state when it comes to family-based immigration. It's an hybrid between family-based and employment-based. One of the things that really breaks my heart at the center is when we see people come to the center, they've been here since they were 12 years old, 13 years old, and we asked them, how did you come here? They said how they come here. How's your parents? One of them is in Nigeria or overseas or, they didn't know this pathway called SEAJ, Special Juvenile Immigrant Status. It's a pathway for those who are below 21 in some states or 18 in some states. They can petition to get a green card when one of their family members is not with them. So I know people here like abandonment when one of their family members abandoned them because it's a medical platform. Psychologically speaking, cognitively speaking, if you are not with your both parents at a formative age, it's an abandonment because what you need for the molding of your well-being is deficient. So the law considered that even though they were well-intentioned, the law considered that as an abandonment. So all they could have done is they could have get a legal guardian that could stand in as one of the parents. The legal guardian goes to a court and they get a guardianship. And with that guardianship, they can petition for the child to become a green card holder. So if you have, and we have a lot of that happen, folks may come here for holidays, the parent may go back, and the children may stay back, but nothing gets done for all this period. So that is one thing that you should think about. You have to think about your state, though. In DC, in Maryland, is 21 years old. In state like Texas, in Louisiana, is 18 years old. So once you know that states, the children can benefit from that pathway. If those who bring their spouses from overseas, I think there's the fiance visa. That they can get and they can come here to adjust to get married. One of the things we also was seeing, and I'm so thankful for our legal team, was that Nigeria has a special fraud unit department at USCIS and several African countries that were automatically flagging our applications as fraudulent. Not because they were all fraudulent, because what was going on was because according to the immigration system, they have certain standards and certain particulars that they identify as the framework or legal document, what a marriage certificate should look like, what a birth certificate should look like. When that is not being an identical match with what they have as a standard, they automatically consider that as fraudulent. So we started, and they won't tell you that is why they're denying you. So polygamy is against the laws of the United States. So what happened is they were having them on polygamy or bigamy, having multiple marriages at the same time. They were not recognizing divorce decrees from Nigeria, which automatically invalidates in their own side the US marriage that they have. So one of the things that we are starting to see as a result of that as well. So we started to advise people to make divorces or initiate that from the United States before they get married and things like that. In some cases, they have to actually go and do the marriage all over again because the system never acknowledged their marriages. So those are the pathways for family-based immigration. So I'm going to pivot to humanitarian-based immigration, and then at some point, I'll take questions. For the humanitarian-based immigration, we all know about the asylum, which is the typical, those who are here for humanitarian reasons. There are two forms of humanitarian pathways. There's the refugee pathway. If you apply to come here, before you get to the United States, you're a refugee. Once you come into the United States, you are applying for asylum, either at the border or within the United States. In that mix is something called TPS, Temporary Protected Status. Virtually all the TPS countries with TPS have been canceled. We had TPS for Ethiopia, for Sudan, for Cameroon. We have EED for Liberia. And all those pathways have been canceled. What I want to mention is just because your country TPS is canceled, it does not mean that you're not eligible to get asylum. What TPS designation does, it designates the entire country. Those who are in the United States from certain period to certain period already have a blanket protection. When that blanket protection does not exist, you have to individually prove those conditions, which is what asylum application is all about. So that's pretty much and the siege special juvenile status is an hybrid between humanitarian as well as family-based immigration. Okay, what else about family-based immigration? Asylum application are still being considered, are still being reviewed. There's been a lot of high rejection rate. From a policy standpoint, earlier in the year, they introduced something called pre-terminate, and it's still active, where USCIS is exercising this authority without granting interviews to pre-terminate the asylum application. So instead of them to get interview or decision, they are going from an asylum application before an immigration court judge without any opportunities for interview or decision. So whenever that happens, they are in what is called removal proceedings. And for those who may know folks in asylum, a few things I really want to highlight here. When you have an asylum application that is pending, you can still file multiple and other sums of immigration relief or petitions. And those petitions will be answered and reviewed, adjudicated with USCIS. Immediately you receive a document called NTA, notice to appear. You are at that point not eligible. You are eligible, but what you would get is USCIS will say they no longer have jurisdiction over your case. So you have to go to the court. So if you're asylum pending, so one of the very heavy decisions folks have to make is, should I go ahead and file other forms of relief that can trigger an NTA, or can I just wait it out? So that's something that you have to consider as well. And once you go to the court, then you are officially in deportation proceedings. One of the things that we're seeing at the center is folks sometimes wait too long before they reach out to us. And it's sometimes very painful because I've seen cases that has no business in court, that have no business in detention centers. There's just lack of legal counsel, advice, or support. So at any point, you should definitely be reaching out. I want to talk about this that makes folks sometimes feel a little bit comfortable. Lawyers don't like to do it, but something you should consider for those family members that may be impacted. Whenever an attorney decides to represent you, they're going to give you a form called G28, Notice of Representation. So the G28 notifies the immigration USCIS that you have an attorney on file. Whenever the individual gets arrested or impacted by immigration, it is a lot easier for them to have access to them. Because what is happening is they're just taking folks and people are just being disappeared and they don't know where they are. It in itself is not that form of legal protection, but it just gives much more access in the case of enforcement, immigration enforcement. So something that we all should think about for those who will support. That's about humanitarian pathways. So if certain countries who have accepted and gone into administration to do third country deportation, one of them is, if you're from Ghana here, they said they took the year of return literal. Like the Ghanaian family took the year of return. They took it literally. It's okay, let's return everyone. They took it too far. Let's use the word. They took the year of return a little bit too far. We thank you, Ghana, for your leadership, how you helped bring the rest of the Black race to that continent. But now you're doing too much. Now you're doing too much. So Ghana and I think Liberia just entered the agreement. A few countries entered the agreement with them. So we're seeing that as well. With what happened in Minnesota, Heights have pivoted. Their strategy is more covert now. They're actually deporting more people in arrest now than they were before when things were very violent. And much more representation is key. It's very important. I want to talk about a success story we had. I'm very excited about. We got a call from New York about this couple. She came in as an F1 student and she was arrested. and she was in deportation. They arrested her in Maryland. The husband was in New York. They were on the phone together when they were talking. And when the ICE arrested her, and she was screaming on the phone, and she begged the ICE officers to talk to her husband. They can at least know where she was. They obliged them. They told them they've been arrested. They're going to be detained in Baltimore. So from Baltimore, she was moved to Louisiana. From Louisiana, she was moved to California. And they called us. When we got the call, they had no representation. We examined the case. They had no business being there. It's just lack of legal advice or representation. We filed for entered in representation for them. We submitted a bond hearing petition for them, and then the bond was heard. It was granted at $10,000, and then we reached out to our community partners and were able to get a grant of $10,000 to the family. They paid $0, and we paid off the entire $10,000 bond to ICE. And even much more, we sent a volunteer in California to the very detention center. It's like a desert area, to pick this family up from the detention facility to a nearby hotel when they can have shower and things like that, and also put them in Uber to LAX, and also pay for the transportation from California back to their family in New York. And it was just a roundabout intervention. And I was thinking about the stature of our community. And I just really challenge our board to say, we're thankful for all these communities that we're able to reach out to support us. I'm thinking, can we not have a defense fund that can provide that level of support? Nigerian Center is going to provide the legal support. But as I mentioned to you, this services to represent this client is close to $30,000. To represent all these people came from white people. Then I don't know how you feel about anyone. How about which fund do you know in our community that is a $50,000 fund, not a $5 million fund, that is a $50,000 fund that can actually pay for the release or bond fees for those who are impacted, that can completely underwrite, their legal services. So that really challenged us to say, you know what? Because something about detention is this: lawyers don't like to take detention cases because it's a heavy lift. And because the person is detained, they are not working, they can't pay you, so they languish in detention. And nobody's supporting them. So Nigerian Center, in the legal services, you can count the numbers of organizations doing detention work. You can literally count them. In the metro area in Washington, D.C., I can tell you two, Amica and PASA, that I know of. You give me your numbers. In your jurisdiction, tell me now, Nigerian Center. Now it gets worse for Black immigrants. There are no Ghanaian. Look at how long my most recent historical research, our first president from Nigeria came to this country in 1925. So in a very modest estimation, so let's have been coming here since 1925. Look at how fast it took us to have a Nigerian center. When I did my research, the first Jewish center was in 1840 something. So there is no centers across the country that is supporting our community members. Black immigrants are much more likely to be detained, deported, and petition denied. And then we're not having the support systems across the country. So I think that is one of the issues with detention work, is the support system is not just there. So we're very proud that we are making this commitment. And it really gladdens my heart where we get these calls and they said, we were told to call this number. We were told to call this number that we are going to need help. But I really don't want to make it to what Nigerian Center is the one doing. We all have an opportunity to stand up for our community at this extraordinary times. We all have that responsibility right now. You said nobody's coming to save us. And we cannot be talking about Black anything that we are not in itself underwriting our own. But that's about that. So let's go to employment-based immigration that I benefited from with the generosity of my deportation officer that turned legal advisor to me that told me what to do. So it's called an EB, employment-based, and there are 5 categories of employment-based visas: the EB1, EB2, 3, 4, 5. EB1 is for extraordinary ability. Let me do some plug-in real quick. We just put out this beautiful video from R&D that we are blessed to announce as our brand ambassador at the Nigerian Center. So if R&D was supposed to come to live with us in America, because of his stature and accomplishment, the pathway that it will come through is called the EB1, extraordinary ability. These are individuals that have exceeded and excelled in the highest echelons of their professional career. They have gotten national awards, international awards. They have made significant contribution. They have impacted commerce and industry. Think about them as thought leaders or industry leaders. That is the EB1 pathway. The second pathway is those who have a lesser form of experience. That is the EB2. The language is exceptional ability. So if you know folks like that who come here, they may have been highly successful before they went back to school or things like that. And there is the EB3, EB4, EB5 is the investor. EB4 is what they use for the siege I mentioned earlier, the religious visas. So those are the employment pathways. I also want to flag a pathway that a lot of people really underestimate is the J visa pathway. Now, the J visa pathway also have something called J Scholar. The J Scholar is for those who are very accomplished, whatever. And I'm sorry, there's a little bit of a feedback echo sound. Let me see if I can mute those who are not speaking, if you allow me to do so. Okay.
It will
So
allow you, but I got it. I got it.
thank you. So there's the J Scholar. Please look into that, particularly those who are highly educated. The limitation to J program, it does not have a pathway to residency or becoming a green card holder. That's the pathway, but look into those pathways for that. So let's talk about the impact of all of this to our well-being, to mental health. And I told Dr. O this one day. We're still at the former's office. I was doing intake, and this woman came in, this tall, presence, Black Nigerian woman that came in. She shouted, "Is this the Nigerian Center?" Honestly, I thought she was from the feds. So, and I don't want to say like that I did anything. So I shouted back, "This is the Nigerian Center." I asked me to an attorney. Then I shouted back, "She did." And we said I shouted back. What? We started shouting back and forth at each other. Then at some point I said, "Now would you like to see?" Then she said, "Yes." Sit down. So she sat down. We were literally shouting at each other. Then finally, I did not know that was unmasking our fear. That she actually came in with a form of trepidation and in trauma. She said she's been indoor for several days. She could not go out. He was literally in bed. And sometimes she said, "If I'm going to die, I'm not going to die in my house. Nobody know where I am. I've heard about this Nigerian Center. If they call ice on me, so it is." So I didn't know all of that was fear. So when she started speaking being indoor, it was the time when DC, the federal troops across was deployed, and ICE had a presence in Maryland and DC. I was like, oh my God. She said she's literally has not gone to grocery store. She has not gone to gas station. She has not gone to work. She has not left her apartment for days. And finally she said, I've been here in this center. I'm just going to take my chances. So then finally I put my voice down. So okay, now I know what is going on. So that's okay. We're gonna meet with our lawyers. So she went in and doctor, we have highly competent staff. They are like on their game. And they may not spend the whole time with you, but you can trust they are on their game. Man, I waited for this session. It was 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour. I was like, what is going on here? And guess what? Then I saw April and this woman, they were hugging each other, they were crying, they were laughing. What is that? And she's like, she has a sweat. I said, what? That's not a way. And I was like, oh my God. The fact we're not a medical institution, but just that legal intervention to just break that hold over people's mind that, there could be a light, for your pathway. And I've seen cases and cases like that they came in with zero possibilities that anything could happen. And by the time they left, we sent out this request for support for a woman in Atlanta who has been a victim of domestic violence. I can't go through all the details, but we did send that email out, and she's been in the shadows for over 20 years. And finally, she spoke out. And there are cases because of just how sensitive this matters are. We can go into the details. There are our community icons and figures that have come to the center. As a matter of fact, the very first client we got at the center was an ambassador of an African country that they fell out of favor with their president and they were recalled and they knew that if they go back home, they're going to be in jail. That was our very first client. So I think this is having mental health well-being ramification. And I think the greatest is just the constant state of fear, people are in right now. And for me, that is the most challenging. When I go to court sometimes, and when they call people, I'm a man of faith, so I really have to invoke my faith here. Sometimes I just thankful, and I told Dr. O this, like if there's one thing I'm most grateful for, is the opportunity to actually live out that scripture that said, when I was in prison, did you show up? And when I see these folks in detention, now, even before they get into detention, they're already living in trauma and fear. And when they are in there, I've never been incarcerated, but those who have said you have no idea. You cannot just imagine what it means to be in there. But the closest I've seen is their faces. And the face tell a story, and it says it all. And I think this is an indictment to our entire community. We celebrate our successes, our wealth, our degrees, and everything. We have a responsibility to members of our community who don't have the same privileges that we have. And one of the things I can tell you, people on this call, you are the ones people have turned to over and over and over and over. Then I was wondering that, well, don't get me started, but you know, because I know the people on this call, we are the ones that continue, but you don't want to wait with all this community wealth that all this Washington Post and CNN, all this documentary that they're doing, you would think we are in this moment, but the good news is we truly have an opportunity to do that now. We truly have that opportunity. It's 8 o'clock. Let me pause. There's a lot being said. I'll be happy to answer any questions at this point.
Thank you so much, Gbenga, and thank you for your humility, because you, less than 10 years in this country, you were bold enough to start Nigerian Center that we've never had. And, I give you kudos. And in the first few months of starting it, the mayor of DC declared October 1st Nigeria Day. That is now Nigerian American Day. So, and a lot more. And in case, we're talking about immigration, but I'm going to mention this, that also IRS has partnered with Nigerian Center to do taxes. They actually sent people who do your taxes there, during tax season, and a lot more. But immigration is huge there. Our own retired doctor, retired, serving. She's still serving. She'll continue to serve. Mary Olodun asked for your information, and I responded nigeriancenter.org. Am I right?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, that is it. And I can also put my email in the
Please,
chat box and my
please do that
information.
because your information is being asked for. So,
Okay.
Dr. Lawton said, yes, fear induces fight and flight and cortisol spikes, which influences hormonal imbalances. Long term, ultimately, when this happens long term, it ultimately alters healthy DNA replication. This is so awesome. You spoke about access in, and she says she is interested in urgent exit. Did you hear that? Okay. She said, I love that. I love it. At least we have choices. So glory be to God. If you have any questions, please raise your hand to ask it or put it in the chat box so we can ask it. Dr. Ugo, kindly unmute and ask your question. Thank you.
Hi, good evening,
Welcome.
everybody.
Welcome.
I
Welcome.
don't have a question. I just want to say how grateful and how odd and happy somebody's talking about something like this on a platform where so many other people will hear about it and share it, because I'm an example of somebody who benefited from those, from that, how do you say it, extraordinary capacity visas. And I remember my Indian calls. I'd come down here to do an MDA, MBA, MPH, MBA combo, and I was going back to Nigeria, and they found out I had this extremely rare autoimmune problem, and I'm a surgeon, and my body was attacking my eyes. How was I going to be a surgeon without eyes? And I still tried to go back home because July's 20 years I've been in America, and I've never lived in my own mind the quality of life I have in Nigeria, even after 20 years. All the systems work, there's light, water, and everything, but I've never felt like I was who I was here. So I remember my Indian professor telling me, look, you don't have to do anything funny. You don't have, how do you see Indians mind Americans to come? You qualify with all your publications, all your this. And I was like, really? That exists? And all I did was Google Jewish um Jewish immigration lawyers, because somebody told me Jewish lawyers were the best. I didn't know any better. Jewish immigration lawyers in the DC area. The first name I just went, the first name just happened to be like 10 minutes walk from where I was sitting. And I just walked in there. And I got this extraordinary, the guy confirmed it. I told me to apply and that I qualified, and I thought it was a joke. All I had to do was, everything in America cost money. All I had to do was pay money. And at that point in my life, that kind of money was nothing to get that kind of visa without stress, and before I knew it, somebody was offering me job. USID was recruiting me once they knew I now had green card, and I didn't have to go home and get blind, and I still could be who I wanted to be. And even if I didn't feel like I was who I would think I am here in America, at least because I had that kind of visa, I could live both worlds when I wanted to. So, and I kept telling people, I'm Igbo. Even my own family people won't believe me that that was all I had to do. I don't know if it's that they didn't believe, because I know everybody's not a doctor, everybody's not, but everybody, like you said, there's RMD is not a doctor, he's an actor. Believe it or not, he's gone above the ways they categorize things. The person who told me and convinced me about it said, circus performers get it because they have butt as big as 7 people. That's what makes them extraordinary. So think about it. So I'm just so awed that I'm on a call and I'm hearing this. Maybe more people will tell other people, and our people will stop doing really funny things that gives us this bad reputation around the world. Thank you so much for doing this.
Well,
I'm
thank you,
going to
Dr.
find
Ugo.
that center and come there physically just to thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ugo, for sharing your story. And I think what resonated, everything you said resonated. But what resonated more was the Jewish, narrative. Um, and I just think that, we truly, and I'm really excited about that possibility because right now we're now becoming the Nigerian narrative, right? Like we are now becoming the places where people go to.
Yeah.
So that is really exciting. And I also think that, I also think that, just collectively, now that we have this center, we have this platform, one of the things I'm getting, we do here with this type of work is where are the organizations in our community? And I said, there are several Nigerian organizations, even on this call. They are the doctors, they are the lawyers, they are the physicians, and these people are the best in this country. Even they talk about the attorneys, the Nigerian attorneys, they are the best in this country. And I have a theory, even the so-called African American attorneys, if you really deep down, there's some Nigerian, if you really get some Nigerianness in that, So I think this is just the opportunity that we now have as a community now. So thank you for sharing that story.
We
Thank you.
Nigerian Americans were more powerful than we realize if we could walk in tandem.
That's the point.
Yeah,
That's
that's
my
the key.
point. That's the point I'm trying to get to. Thank you for bringing that. Yes.
If we could work in tandem, work together, so we can be stronger. Dr. Ogunleye said in the platform, the Jewish lawyers have years of experience representing German persecuted Jews. Yes. And I want to add that we have amazing African lawyers, African American lawyers, Indian lawyers, mention it. There are, lots of Jamaican lawyers, I know some that are really, fantastic. We have lots of great lawyers now. It doesn't matter what race. And thank you for that insight, Dr. Guleye. So, Dr. Izugu, kindly unmute. What is this feedback I'm hearing every once in a while?
Gbenga,
Yes, sir.
ẹ káàárọ̀.
He said, good morning. Yorubas will say,
Well,
"Batabari ni lowuro eni." It's when you see somebody that is their morning.
Yes, sir.
So totally appropriate, Dr. Izugu.
Amen. I really want to commend you for what God is doing through you. I will underscore that you are a truthful human being. If it wasn't that, you wouldn't be where you are today. And so in America, when you really stand on the ground of truth, you will do well. The problem we have is when people start acting, thinking they are smart or smarter than the system, then they run into problems. And so please continue to do what you do, and we're here to support as much as we can. That God is with you, and keep that hand straight, always representing Him right as you do. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Dr. Remi Olodun, that is my cousin. Unmute, please. There
Yeah,
you
thank
go.
you, sis. How you doing?
Welcome.
Good, good, good. Hey, listen, I want to commend Gbenga for what he's doing. I'm very and I'm very excited about it. I'm very, 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 very happy that someone finally decided to do this. Just to go back a little bit in the history of Nigeria and United States, right after the Civil War in 1976, 77, between 76 and 79, um, we had what we call a Nigerian Student Union. Okay, I was the vice president for that union, and we have a Senator Kennedy as our backup. Immediately after the war, many Nigerians returned back to Nigeria when everything settled down. And we had Nigerian embassy as a support, both in Atlanta, DC, and California. Okay, so anything happened to any Nigerians whatsoever, we had a flat fee that immigration will give you a number to call your brother. They call your brother, they will come and get you out. It's $2,000 flat fee that we pay to immigration, and they will let that individual out. They did not deport Nigerians during that period. Okay, until when the government started changing in Nigeria, then we didn't have the support from the embassy, then everything kind of fell apart. So I'm hoping, by the grace of God, that this thing stay working in place, because as things change, seasons change, and things tend to fall apart, you know. So most of those people involved in that organization during that period, they've gone back to Nigeria when everything settled down. So I commend Gbenga for what he's doing. I wish him all the best, and he has my support. Whichever way we can, we'll definitely support him. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for that history lessons. I didn't know that. That's thank you for that, sir. I didn't know that.
Thank you. And thank you for serving. He served many years in the military, was deployed several times. He's a veteran, amazing man. Thank you for serving. We appreciate you. I want to also say that all that Gbenga is doing, all that Nigerian Center is doing, takes funding. When you go to the website, nigeriancenter.org, and there's a place there where you can, donate. So please push that button, donate, no matter how much, because you got to listen or remember during Benga's presentation that free consultation, free immigration service is offered to people who are taken by ICE, I know a lot of things that they have done, people they have saved in this ICE period. And it costs money for those consultations, for the immigration representation and all of that. Our Nigerian Center is a 501c3 non-profit organization also. So you will get credit for on your taxes for whatever you donate. Thank you. Just my 2 cents there. George, you have your hand raised. Kindly unmute. Thank you. Go ahead. The floor is yours, George.
Oh, he can't hear you.
We can't hear you. We still can't hear you. That's interesting. We saw your
No.
lips moving. We can't hear you. You want to go out and come back in and see if that would work? We still can't hear you. If you go, maybe when you came in, you didn't give audio. Okay. Adiola, Mrs. Adiola Atekoja, our own writer, who can assist you to also write your own book. Kindly unmute. There you go.
Wow. Good evening, ma. Wow.
Good evening. Welcome.
Yes. Thank you very much. Wow. Mr. Gbenga.
Yes.
When you say you are Ijebu, I want to greet you in Ijebu way. We're cool show on a lighter mood. Hmm. Like I want to.
Our husband is Ijebu.
Nice. Nice.
God bless you. God bless you. I want to also testify to the amazing work that Nigerian Center is doing. And when we was talking earlier, there was a time I got to read on the website that if you're a business owner or you are an aspiring or you need loan, there was that publication that I stumbled at and I just literally just gave it a try. And then, normal, typical, if you're just stepping into business and you just looking for how you can get access to loan, and it's like the big banks there, they don't recognize you, they don't really, because you've not, but long shot, from that initiative, I was introduced to an organization, Live Asset, and in collaboration with Nigerian Center, they give loan from minimum 5,000 to 50,000. And I was going to think it's not going to happen that let me just fulfill all righteousness, let me just feel, and let's see how far. But I was surprised that I was qualified and I got the loan. And it was a continuous thing. They tried you for then the next time they asked you to double, and like that. So I can testify that beyond just immigration, Nigerian Center is also going ahead to just make sure that the Nigerian community is being supported in any way. So kudos to you, sir, and want to wish you more and more. Thank you very much. I just said I must comment on what I've also benefited beyond just immigration, and that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. We do have a micro lending program, and quite frankly, we've not necessarily do so much in that area just because of the political climate that we are in right now. So the legal service has kind of dominated our everyday and just the urgency of the situation. But we do have that, and we still have information on our website. So I encourage everyone to please spend time on the Nigerian Center website, see the programs that we do have.
Yeah, I remember when Adiola got that the loan, she was so excited because it actually happened within like 48 hours, something crazy like that. There was no delay. Yeah. Thank you so much again, Gbenga, for all
There's a
you guys are
question in
doing.
the chat box. Like,
Rebecca, yeah,
okay,
I say it. I was going to read it. Rebecca
so
says,
I don't know if my
thank
audio
you.
is okay
Just
now.
a minute. Oh, you can talk now, George.
I
George,
just
go
I
ahead.
just want to confirm if it's okay now.
Go
Yeah.
ahead. Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Mr. Benga, I wanted to appreciate all what you've been doing so far, and I was fortunate to get to your office. That was just a few days ago. I went there with my wife to visit. I really so much appreciate what you've been doing. In fact, this platform, I got to know more about because when we came to the office, we didn't really get to know in depth of what you've been doing, and it's something that it's not just something, it's something it's like a gift from God, to help a fellow human beings around you. And that's the only thing that God has asked us to do. You love your neighbor as yourself. And that is what you've been doing in so many ways. And you're even doing more for your people, which is, it's very, 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 I be so much appreciated. And the only thing I would just want to say, how do we get, because not so many people are aware of this. And anytime we talk about Nigeria, we talk about Washington, some people, they tend to just wash it by the side and everything. And I think it's a good thing if you can elaborate and let people know more about what you do so that the people that want to support can come to support and appreciate what you're doing. I don't know the platform that we can. I'm very sure this program that's coming up very soon is another eye opener for people to get to know more about Nigerian Center. And I know you still attend one or two events too that to tell more people about it. But I really want us to really loud the Nigerian Center. Yeah.
Thank you. So what you just said is very important, is key. I would encourage everyone on the platform, share with 5 people, 10 people. nigeriancenter.org.org. You will learn a lot on that website. It's up to us also to put the word out. And Nigerian Center they do lots of programs. So if you visit that website, and you send in your email, you will get emails from them. Also on the website, you will see them post the programs and all that they do. They do lots of things to benefit the community. Lots of information out there. Yeah. So Rebecca said, thank you for the good work, Mr. Gbenga. She would like to ask, how long does it take to get a date for an in-person consultation appointment? She submitted the online intake form last week, but she has not heard back yet.
Okay.
Gbenga.
So thank you for that question. And sorry you've not heard back from us. The walk-in, we actually have no appointment walk-in every week on Thursdays. There's no appointment needed. You can walk in to get services every Thursday. Our office hours for walk-ins are 12:30 to 4:30 p.m. Our address, I'll put it in the chat box. You can literally just walk in to get that. For the in-person, usually you don't schedule appointments for in-person. They are walk-in services. When people call the office and they say they want to walk in, our receptionist or phone person may tell them to complete an intake form. Just think about it when you go to an hospital. They'll prefer that you fill your intake form before you show up to make things a lot faster, but it's not contingent on you receiving a service or appointment. So you don't need an appointment to get in-person services. So you may not necessarily get a call back because the in-person form is for those who have called. They will direct them to say, go fill out this form. So by the time you come in, you can just go in and get to a doctor, to an attorney. We do have virtual consultations. The virtual consultation, we tried as much as possible within 48 hours to get back to everyone. So if you don't hear back, I will ask that you call. And please, if you call the Nigerian Center, please leave a detailed message. We read all the emails, all the calls. It's also transcribed and it forwards it to everyone's email address. So one of the things we say, people will call sometimes, they don't leave messages. And we get a ton of calls. Imagine with the level of what we do, the volumes of call we get a day. The receptionists try as much as possible to get back to everyone, even if they don't leave a message. But we are much more likely to get a call back if there's a detailed message being left. And sometimes we miss it. We missed a few of those. They may fall through the cracks, but please call back again. The detention form, we've been giving that more priority now just because of the sensitivity. So if you look for some detention, they can also go online and fill out the form for the detention services. There is a small fee for the virtual services. There is no fee for walk-in. There's no fee for detention. Yeah, I hope that answered the questions.
So Rebecca, you can unmute. She raised her hand. She was the one who asked the question. I think she has a follow-up. Go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for
Welcome.
answering my
Good evening.
question.
Yeah.
So I did call last week and a lady picked the call. She told me about the intake form and then I did feel, I think after the last meeting you had last month with some group of people, which I was part of it. And then she told me because they have like a quite number of people applying now. So I might need to get like a date or something for me to be able to come in person for appointments. So I called today. Nobody picked the call, though I left my name, my phone number, but which I think maybe they're gonna give me a call back tomorrow. But while you were talking, I think your network was a bit it wasn't clear. So I don't know if you said in-person meetings is like every Thursday from 12 to something. I didn't hear you clearly. Just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Okay. Once again, apologies for the delay. You should have gotten a call back much sooner. There's no excuse for that. We do better with that. We try as much as possible that we can, but still no excuse for that. We definitely should be doing better than that. Yes, the volumes have increased, and but most definitely we take that. So yes, the walk-ins are free. If you're in the Washington D.C. area, you are not required to have an appointment to come in. So just come in on Thursdays from, it's 12:30, but people start coming in at 12 o'clock, all the way to 4:30, and sometimes people stay to 5. And you can just walk in, you will be seen on that day. Um, Sometimes the appointments for in-person, um, it's like a priority thing, but it's not required to be seen. So if you are in the Washington, D.C. area, every single Thursday, you can come in and I'll put the address. It's 700 Pennsylvania Avenue Southeast, Washington, D.C., about the Eastern Market Metro Station in the Capitol Hill neighborhood. Please just walk in. There's no fee, there's no appointment required for that. And I will also communicate this to our receptionist for this double message. So this feedback is helpful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the feedback, Rebecca. Dr.
Thank
Alu
you, ma'am.
says, thanks a lot, Gbenga, for being a beacon of light to our community. You have indeed inked your ideas and selfless efforts on the sand of time and in the lives of immigrants. I agree. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rotimi Omokwe, this is painful for me. He said, "Sir, I would like to know that he would like to know if there's hope for his friend who was picked up by ICE. Today makes the ninth month in detention, far away in Detroit."
Yeah. Yes, please. Please, what I'll do is I'll put the link to our detention form. At least we can talk to them to understand their situation. But this is what I would say. When it comes to, so the stages for detention, the very first thing we want to do is to get them out of the detention through a bond hearing. And when they make that bond, they can continue their cases without being in detention. What we are seeing, those who have any criminal activity or record, on very rare, they will approve them for bond. Those who came to the country without inspection or at the border, most likely they will not approve them for bond, for that. So that's one of the barriers. If this person have any form of criminal activity or things like that, that could be a challenge. Another issue, what we are also seeing is there are people who actually have no idea that House has issued, or immigration has issued some form of removal order on them that they have no idea. Some of them have missed court dates. Some of them have NTAs that they never got. They have no record of that. So we have a case whereby people say that, they're being ordered removed several years ago. So if there's an existing removal order for someone, most likely the timeline to apply for appeal is passed. So at that point, the resources is just remove them from the country. So those factors may play a role for how someone may be in detention for so long. Some people don't have any form of representation. Another thing we're seeing is it's difficult enough for you to interact with the systems if you're not detained. But if you are detained, it's almost impossible. So a few things that they could have done, they have no support to do so. These are the challenges people are seeing. So those factors, but I'll put the link. We will reach out to them to see what their case, what their matter is, and see if there's something we can help them.
Thank you so much. There's also, I stumbled on an organization established in Nigeria that actually help people. Say somebody is deported, some people don't even know where to go. They have nobody to assist them. These people will meet them at the airport, take them to, safety, safe accommodation, and also assist them in getting jobs and just getting situated in that worst case scenario that you just described, Gbenga, if somebody has to be deported. So that's also a resource, at least to help them on ground. Attorney Tinu Akinshola, you have your hand raised.
Good evening,
Welcome.
everyone.
Good
Yes.
evening.
How are you, everybody? Thank you so much, Uncle Gbenga Ogunjimi. God bless you for the work you and the people in the at the center. What you all do every day to help improve the lives of Nigerians, both here and abroad. Yeah, I've been listening patiently, and I just wanted to know because I know that there has been some engagement with the Nigerian American Lawyers Association, but I don't think I heard you say anything about your relationship or collaborations with the attorneys in that organization. Thank you.
I think when he was mentioning organizations, he mentioned them, but thank you so much for that. I want to say also, just before you answer that, Gbenga, Mr. Rotimi, the link is in the chat box for that form for your friend. Please fill it out and help complete taking care of your friend. And thank you for bringing it up. Gbenga, the floor is yours. Answer Tony Akinshola.
Nala has been a very strong community partner and support system for us. So we had a partnership and still have a partnership with Nala. Nala was providing legal services, pro bono services for us, and they're still continuing to do so. So we really appreciate them. So we announced a partnership with Nala about 2 years or so ago. And what that partnership entails is that when we have cases um, we don't have capacity for, we reach out to Nala. They will send attorneys that are Nigerian American to the center, and sometimes they will take them online or virtual, and sometimes they'll go to court for them. Nala also provides like know your rights for our immigration services. They host like workshops and things like that. So I really appreciate Nala so much. Even the attorneys of Nala also make financial donations to the Nigerian Center. So sometimes I make a joke when I call them. I said, "Is it because of the $10,000 check you're about to write? That is why you've not been picking up my call."
Of course.
So
Yeah.
I'll give it some shape. So then you write the check now. I'll increase your number amount you will write to the center. So Nala has been, and thank you, big sister Tinu, for mentioning this. And also back to the Jewish commentary. And I really would appreciate if you can speak to this attorney, Tinu. You know, in Nigeria, we said, no, let's even use the scripture that a prophet is not honored or valued in his own home. Is
Then.
it funny that we listen to all these American leaders from White House to Wall Street to Silicon
Mhm.
Valley? They all talk about their Nigerian doctors, their Nigerian lawyers, their Nigerian professors. But when Nigerians talk about our own, we talk about the Jewish.
I know.
I'm
Yeah, you know, bros, that's the mindset we have here.
20 years ago,
Yeah.
nobody showed me a Nigerian lawyer in Massachusetts. I would have not followed a Jewish lawyer. And when I Googled, there was no Nigerian popping up.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah, that's one of the heresies that we, the Nigerian American Lawyers Association in this territory, we will say DMV area. That's one of the things that we started correcting, actually, the major reason why we started this organization. And I'm so glad that, bros, you mentioned that because when we started, the very first president of the organization back then, he called us together, and all of us in consortium, we purpose to help. Number one, to just demystify the fact that the attorneys, the Nigerians here, that we are all fraudsters, and how it is for 1-9ers and all that. So the rebranding was one of the things that we had to deal with. And then each person, each attorney was their feet was put to the fire that the cases that you take, make sure you are capable and have possess the abilities to immediately even inch out that to the best of your professional capabilities, because we all know that um we always say that Maryland Bar Council is very highly sensitive and intolerant to us Africans, especially Nigerians. And we've had a lot of attorneys, Nigerian attorneys like that disbarred. So we wanted to be on our best so that all the attorneys we put forward, you would know that these people have their homework done and all that. And to God be the glory, the organization is going strong. Even people who are outside of the DMV area, they are looking forward to joining us. And that's why we are looking at changing our constitution, to be able to accommodate other attorneys outside of the jurisdiction. So that maybe if we had done that earlier, it would have been something that could have helped you. Auntie who is in Ohio, or where were you? Massachusetts. Yeah. So thank God for
Well,
that. Yeah.
we thank God.
Yeah.
If for people who don't know what NALA stands for, is the Nigerian Association,
No, the Nigerian American
The
Lawyers
Nigerian
Association.
American Lawyers Association. Sorry,
Mhm.
Nigerian American Lawyers Association. We have amazing lawyers there. One of our Medical Mondays family also, Attorney Richard Williams, who is
Yeah.
also on the national at NAPAC, amazing lawyer. The president now, I think, is lawyer Ogwe.
Ogbuehi, and I am
He
the current
is
vice
fantastic.
president.
And you are the current, Attorney Akinshola is the current vice president.
Yes, ma'am.
Attorney Abiodun Bakari, when ICE first started,
Mhm.
he was the president then,
Immediate past now.
immediate past. He volunteered that anyone who is stopped by ICE, don't answer their questions. Call your lawyer. Tell them you're calling your lawyer and call him. He was the president then,
Yeah.
immediate
Just
past
like
president.
last year.
So, and he's an amazing attorney. Attorney Omobolanle, another one. I mean, I
Another
can go on
Baba
and on.
Femi.
Chinwe Kwadua,
Yeah.
amazing attorneys. We have gems in our community.
Emeka Onwezi.
I'm not beating down the Jews or any others, but I can tell you that Nigerian American lawyers are top notch. Many across races, there are excellent lawyers, and we need to stop. I don't know. We need to stop singing the praises of certain ones
No,
when
really, you are right, because
I don't
even
know.
the Jewish lawyers, the Jewish law firms, they make good use of us, the Nigerian attorneys.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. Thank you so much.
two of us actually made the National Bar Association's list of under 40 attorneys who are very well accomplished. Sharon Williams is one, and I've forgotten the name of the other person. Yeah, so everyone, of course, they are not all doing immigration. There's Tokpe Odusami there, Kemi Odusami. We have those even working in the federal government. Agencies, so all of them have their individual practice, and they are doing good. And we all know that what we cannot handle, we are not taking. And yeah, So professionalism is on the top list for. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Dr. Fawole said, thank you so much for the valuable information and the incredible support you are providing for our community. She said, does the services extend to folks in other states? Yes.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Yes, it does. Programs are national, and yes, it does. So obviously, those in other area may not be able to walk in for our walk-in services. So we have virtual services for them. And you should know immigration is federal, so we do represent clients across the country. Yes, the short answer is yes, it does. I also want to answer a question.
So, Sister Lola said, thank you so much for all that you do. Just curious about how many attorneys do you have working at the center on a good day?
On a good day, we have about, say, 5 attorneys working at the center. We actually have much more than that. For example, our partnership with NALA, they have several attorneys. There are other law firms that provide pro bono support to the Nigerian center. We have a roster of like other contractors, attorney, we have lawyers and staff. So you have a decent mix of lawyers that work from the center, that work with the center in different areas of organization. There is question I'm trying to get to though. Is it okay I answer the question?
No, we have to address every question. On Medical Mondays with Dr. O, every question is important.
Okay.
Dr. Professor Amadou Babasangri said, thank you for the service your organization is providing. He wants to make an observation about returns of phone calls, such as stating on your voicemail that a call may be returned within 48 hours. So there is no urgent expectation of returns of calls. So he's suggesting that maybe you should leave a voicemail that calls will be returned within 48 hours. That way, callers will know that you will return it within 48 hours and they won't say you did not return their calls. It's a suggestion he's making.
Thank you, Professor, for the suggestion. We actually try to return the call same day, sometimes immediately. The issue of 48 hours came with the intakes. Like when people submit an intake form, at most they get back to us, we get back to them, particularly the virtual consultation in 48 hours. The just regular phone calls to the office, that is for the most part returned same day. There's been a significant increase in volume of calls and our capacity. We've not been fast as we used to. So I think is one area that we need to increase capacity in that area. So
that would mean employing more people. That would mean more funding. You know, I'm sorry, I'll go back to donate.
And also the previous question that asked the number of attorneys, I don't know if the context of that question, if they have a specific legal question or they're an attorney they want to volunteer or they want to serve. Is there a reason they want to know the numbers of lawyers that we have? So that way, if I didn't answer the question.
Sister Lola Aramularo, if you want to unmute and give a follow-up on that, so Gbenga can know why you asked the question and he can answer it in more depth.
No, not really. Not really. It was just a thought that came to my mind. I truly appreciate you, and you can trust that I'll be one of the people that will be supporting you. Henceforth.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you, sis. Thank you. Dr. Ugo gave more feedback. She said the Jewish immigration law she went to then actually had Nigerians on board, even back then too, 20 years ago. So
yeah.
That's fantastic. Dr. Mayowa Fawole said, good to know. Thank you for praying. Thank you. I'm praying continuous blessings on you and families.
Yeah. And talking about Nigerian lawyers, I should also give this testimonial. Nigerians, like, highly accomplished superstar, person came so they got a notice about to be denied their petition. And they came with this level of annoyance, like, because they are highly accomplished, they could not even make sense of, their wealth of experience and how their petition will not go through. So out of curiosity, I asked the individual, I said, how did you hear of the Nigerian Center? He said he petitioned himself, he did the EB thing himself, and then when he got this notice that he couldn't imagine, like, why with my level of experience? So he said he literally Googled Nigerian USCIS or immigration license attorneys. And, I said, it's very interesting. We did the opposite. So he actually wanted, instead he typed in, so Nigerian Center has a DOJ recognition. And we call that the gold standard in legal services for nonprofit. So we are one of the organizations in the country that is licensed and accredited by the Department of Justice. So if you go to DOJ website, you see Nigerian Center, then you see my name there. So he said when he saw that, so okay, not only are they Nigerian, they are accredited by the Department of Justice. That is where I want to go to. So I told my comms people, I said, we need to tell more about this story, that they are not, Dr. Uga, I'm not coming for you, trust me. Not all Nigerians are looking for non-Jewish attorneys. There are actually some looking for Nigerians. So we need to do more, visibility for them to know about that. So I thought that was very interesting. I want to share that too.
Thank you. Thank you. And that is excellent. I mean, that I love it. Sister Atinuke Okwade said, thanks so much for the vital information you shared with us. God bless you and all yours. She says she shared this beautiful session with some people that may like to contact you later. Thank you so much, Ma. Appreciate that. Because everybody that needs help should be pointed in the right direction. Nigerian Center has changed lives. I know people with testimonies. Sister Florence said, well done, Mr. Gbenga. And indeed, I echo that. Well done. And to Nkechi in Nigerian Center, all the other staff members, we appreciate them. Thank you. So if there are no more questions, and I know people may still post, give us your parting words. What would you like us to take home with us from this session?
Is that for me or for the audience question?
For you, what would you like us to take home?
Oh,
well, wait a minute. Before you go, Dr. Ugo said, totally agree that she looks for Niger expertise before anything else. Oh.
Yes, yes.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Ugo. Yeah, go ahead. The floor is yours, Gbenga.
I just put in our address. I think we were both invited to a birthday ceremony of one of our community members, one of our leaders at a non-Nigerian restaurant, and I felt really insulted. Like, why would you bring us? Just reach a point whereby even to the food that I eat, it has to be Nigerian. And why would you bring us? Then we put all these leaders.
I remember that. I remember that we were invited, and Gbenga was like, why would you invite us to this restaurant when there are Nigerian restaurants we can go to go eat good Nigerian food? And then you told us that night about the new Nigerian restaurant that opened in DC. That was the night you told us. I remember.
Yes. The pattern words I would like to share. I was invited to do this presentation somewhere in the country. And people were talking about, the state of decay, how things are back home, and how challenging it is back home. And also, and the idea that we are called the Nigerian Center. So there's a lot of criticism I get sometimes, for this work that we do. And I just try to explain that I am the community member like every single one of us here. I think the idea is sometimes like what I've come to realize, if you look at the enormity of challenges around us, sometimes it appears that our expertise, our contribution cannot make any difference. And because of that, we stop and we don't do anything at all. And there is an experiment, I think it's NYU case study. It was about the 911 call, and there was an individual that was being attacked in a broad daylight, and the next person thought this person was going to call the cops, and nobody called. And everybody watching for hours, and this person was being attacked publicly. And I think what happens is when we have the agency to do something, and we keep discounting what we have the capacity to do, thinking that someone else's will do it, or someone else's agency or resources is going to be more potent than what I can do. I think the consequence of that is we also participate in how destructive or the behavior we see around us. So, and I think that applies to us here in our own community here. This, for me, this is our own Nigeria right here. This is our own Africa. This our own Caribbean. Our community here is what we have. And I think we just have the responsibility. We've heard on this call. There is NALA, there is Nigerian Center, there's AMPA, there's several community organizations that are on the front lines. But what we have seen over and over, it is just this limited minority of the people pushing the community and supporting over and over. And the person who are in their ecosystem that can resource them thinks that my resources cannot do so much for these people, or I can't make any form of difference. But the danger is everybody keep echoing that. And I think we just have the responsibility to do something, to really, really do something about that. I also want to say that I think the current climate we have, there's so much opportunities in this climate for us to, somebody talk about this cohesion that is missing in our community. I think more than ever before, we have the opportunity now to band together and to live more insular within our community that we didn't always get before. So I think that's another word that I really want to think about. And the policy advocacy thing I talked about earlier is we all have the responsibility. There's this kind of civic apathy in our community. The average community member do not know their elected representatives' name. There's a fantastic organization called NAPAD that have been putting Nigerians and Nigerian Americans into public offices that we should all know and support. But beyond just voting, there's several things we can do. And I think we often forget that that is the blessing of living in this United States of America. Like, it's still one of those countries that you actually can make a difference. My story is, it's a living proof that you truly can make a difference, because we all have conjure up these imaginary gatekeepers that's going to stop us from making any difference. We truly can. So whether it is being more civically curious and showing up on issues that affect our community, I tell people, if you go to, say, the DMV, for example, if you go to even a health institution, your outcome is largely decided by policies. But those policies, you actually have a role to play in shaping those policies. You can show up at your local county public hearing and go in and tell your testimony. You can request a meeting with your elected officials. There's so much we can do. We don't have the luxury of just sitting on the fence and say someone else is going to do it. And I think that agency and that responsibility to become more civically engaged, to participate in more community activities that affect our communities. I think this is the season that we are in right now. So I think that would be my parting words to the people, and just reach out and see how we can resource, you can support our community. Even if it's not just for you, for someone else, so the life can be better. The next generation's life can be better. Those would be the words I'm going to share.
Thank you. Call to action is what I would term what you just encouraged us to do, to get our hands wet, to get our voice heard. Call to action. Thank you. Appreciate you so much, Gbenga, for all you are doing with your team and for the lives that you have changed. You've allowed the Lord to use you to change for the better. Thank you. And for Medical Mondays family, please get the word out. Let people know about Nigerian Center so they can get the assistance they need. Again, out of state, they can do virtual calls. They pay for that. It's very cheap. I know it's less than $100. And for people in the DMV area, walk-ins is on Thursdays. It's free. Consultation is free when you walk in. Walk in, go get consultation, get your questions answered, and get rightly situated. Again, thank you. Till we meet again next week. Stay safe. Wash your salads before you eat so you avoid cyclospora. Well, we don't know if that's what's causing it, but just wash everything well.